Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube astrological segment, I'm going to be talking about transit Pluto conjunct one's natal Uranus. Now, when we're talking about transits that involve Pluto, they could be about transformation, power, obsession, fixation, and control. When transit Pluto conjoins one's natal Uranus, well, this may manifest in transformation, power, obsession, control. Could be in friendships. You might be trying to gain more power over your friendships. Guard against becoming overly domineering at this time in matters connected with your friends, projecting a domineering nature toward them. It can be a time where you may be more obsessed with them than usual, and having being more of an intense focus on them than usual. It could also be where you might be could be that same energy, that a fixated energy might apply to groups as well. And it might be a time too where you might be more controlling of people in those groups at this time that you may belong to. Say if it's in Sagittarius, it could be like a sports related group or religious or something connected with religion or philosophy or publishing. Now, it might also be a time to remember that Pluto was connected with obliteration and destruction. Uranus could be very bizarre energy and unusual. It might be a time where you might be trying to eliminate if there's any idiosyncrasies that are connected with you or bizarre behavior or something unusual or unorthodox. It could be about you, but let's say, I mean, looking at the house that it falls in, if it's in the third house, it could be unusual or a bizarre behavior by a neighbor or a cousin or a sibling. If it's in the fourth house, it could be a family member, it could be the less dominant parent, which is often the mother, or someone simply close to home with you. Now, it may also be a time too where it may be this could manifest in maybe power through ingenuity by maybe making through the creation of something new. It might feel like might give you more power in your life. For example, and as far as your friendships, it might be something too where you keep in mind the fact that Pluto is connected with recycling and waste as some examples that it's associated with it. And Uranus's innovation and ingenuity. It could be a time where maybe you do something innovative connected with waste or something with recycling or anything that could be Pluto related. It could be like, I mean, some of you may have seen that robot litter scoop or something similar to that. You may want to confirm that on the internet. Something like that. It could be something too. We're looking at this as well, or maybe something happens if you're in like a nuclear physicist. It could be something ingenious with that, something nuclear. Also, too, Uranus is shocking energy and it's connected with electricity. So it's important at this time. People remember that Pluto is connected with death, and not to be overly morbid or morose or negative on things, but it's important to be extra careful at this time when you're if you're outside in an area where there's a lot of lightning or where storms and lightning are very prevalent. Just be extra careful and prudent at this time. Uranus is associated with computers and electronics. So it might be a time where you might be more fixated with these things. If you're somebody that goes on the internet at least fairly frequently, it might be more, the time might be even more frequent now because Pluto, of course, is obsessive and fixated energy. Uh, it could be a time to keep in mind, anatomically speaking, Uranus is connected with the ankles, the shins, the calves, the lower legs, and nerves. So it might be a time to, sometimes it could manifest in surgery on that. Pluto is connected with surgery. It could be something where one of those things become destroyed at this time, or shattered. Could be like something with the ankle or the shin. Uh, it could be a time. I mean, this could be very isolated. Amputation of a lower leg in some isolated cases, but again, like I stated before, this is very isolated. Um, it can be a time too where you might be. I mean, the fact that, and also Uranus is connected with unusual growths, so it might be a time too where you might be dealing, with something where there might be, I don't know, either surgical procedures to remove tumors. It could be something like that. And also remember, Uranus is connected with freedom and independence. So you might be correlating freedom and independence with more power in your life and being able to maybe it has some kind of transforming effect on you, being able to extricate yourself from some situation. Say if it was in the seventh house, it might be through some marriage partner with that your significant other that might not be treating you well or might not be compatible for you, and it might be a time where you feel that getting away from this person might really have a strong transforming effect on you. Now, another way this could manifest and pan out, this could be very, it might be some fixation on unusual behavior, or as I was stating before, it might be a time to simply eradicate it at this time. I mean, I'm not saying, you know, most people that have any kind of unusual behavior, it's not going to be as extreme as like climbing the walls, like suction cups, like doing a Spider-Man impersonation or anything like that, but it can be some odd behavior that might be more obsessed with at this time, more so than usual. And it could also be something too, it could even be some kind of compulsive behavior that might seem odd or unusual, like if you're somebody walking down a hallway and touching the walls every time they walk by, or something just kind of basic like that. Now, another thing too, this could also manifest in some cases, could be deep research on friends and groups or organizations. Say if it's in Scorpio as an example, it could be maybe criminal or nefarious activity with these people. It could also be in some cases, this could be expressed in a power struggle with Uranus people. It could be people that you might know on internet or through say if it's an Aquarius, it might be the internet or social media. But the fact Uranus people in general can indicate that, as well as maybe people that might be innovators or people that are astrologers or astronomers, electricians, people with computers, anything that could be Uranus related. And also too, it might be a time as well that you may be trying to obliterate or eliminate something that is erratic, sporadic, and very unstable in your life. Now, say if this falls, for example, in Capricorn in the sixth house in your natal chart, it might be through some mundane general work, but it might be something that's got an erratic schedule. Um, and also too, now in a lot of cases, people are going to have viruses that are going to corrupt their computers, regardless of transits, but because it's just a thing that happens fairly frequently with people. But if you're having this transit, keep in mind Pluto can be connected with viruses and corruption. Uranus is associated with computers, so it might be a time where that might be more prevalent, or it might simply be at a point where your system maybe can't be repaired or restored at this time, and you might have to wind up restoring your computer completely and replacing it during this transit. Now, another thing too, this could also manifest in some cases as like a Plutonian goal or aspiration. Pluto, Uranus can be connected with goals and aspirations. Pluto can be connected with things that are nuclear. It could be pursuing a position as like a nuclear physicist, or it could be doing something with the occult, which can include astrology, working as a coroner or a surgeon, an investigator, working with forensics, anything that is Pluto related. Uh, Now, in some cases, too, it might also be expressed in the death of a friend, or maybe somebody that was prominent in some group, club, or organization you were involved in. As I was stating before about surgery, it can be surgery on something your Uranus related, like the shins or the calves, lower leg and ankle. even something with nerves. Hold on a moment, people. And again, to reiterate what I was saying previously, guard against dominating some kind of team or something group related or friendships at this time. This could give like sometimes give like a power complex in those areas in one's life. And the thing about this too is that, I mean, say if it's in Sagittarius, for example, it could simply be maybe wanting to dominate somebody on the, opposing player on a team in a sports competition, or it might be something to, now in some cases, as far as physically, it could be something unexpected, which is Uranus, an issue with something Pluto related, which could be the colon, the prostate, or the bladder, something with the reproductive system or sexual organs at this time. So anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment. Until next time, people, Edwin Learnard saying, stay well.